It's Archie. I'm live at the International Conference on ADHD. We are in Kansas City this year, 2025. I'm pleased to say I'm joined by Alan P. Brown, who's a productivity coach, and he obviously a few of you might know that he came on as a guest on our podcast a few weeks back. Actually,
Yeah.
he's part of the ADD Crusher, or he's the ADD Crusher man. Alan, great to see you in person. Let me shake your hand.
Great to see you. What a joy to see you coming across the pond and
Absolutely.
landing in Kansas City.
Yes,
And
yes, we've done it.
yeah, we've
We
done it.
we were talking about this a few months back. Do you remember? And we were like, yeah, in November, it felt like it was months away.
Months away. Yeah.
But now, yeah, it's
Boom. Here it is.
boom. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, I mean, it's a great day. The sun is, well, I wouldn't say the sun is shining, but it's nice and warm, nice environment to be around all these researchers, people that work in the ADHD field, people who have ADHD themselves, and obviously catching up with you, Alan. What are you looking forward to most, Alan, this
Well,
year?
I'll tell you, at every conference, I just look forward mostly to the people here
Yeah,
and the vibe.
yeah,
And I can tell you that probably 80% of the people who come to this conference regularly
yes,
will tell you something similar. It's a wonderful vibe.
yeah,
Obviously, I am presenting here. I'm also speaking on an influencer panel, so I'm looking forward to those things.
yeah,
But uh, and of course, there's all the learning that's available here. There's so
yes.
many great presentations by really great researchers and other coaches, et cetera. So
Mhm.
I'm just looking forward to soaking in as much as I possibly can.
Absolutely. And I think you've just described it really well there, just in terms of like everything that we will be experiencing over the next 2 or 3 days, in terms of some of the speakers that I've been to some of the presentations already. I still feel quite overwhelmed by it all. I mean, just being around here, seeing all these fantastic people doing amazing work in their own rights. People come from different parts of the world as well.
Yeah.
That's I've come from the UK, but I've heard people coming from all of the other foreign places than the UK. I was talking to someone who came from Australia earlier. I mean, that just goes to show how
Yeah.
this conference is reaching far and wide, which is
Yes.
fascinating. You touched on your presentation that you're doing in the next. Is it today or in the
Tomorrow
tomorrow?
morning, I'm presenting. Yeah.
Okay, what are you presenting on?
I'm presenting something called 10 Simple Mindset Shifts for More Doing and Less Stressing.
Right.
Would you like an example?
I was just about to say. I think some of this we touched it when we caught up a few weeks back. But certainly for any listeners that didn't
Yeah,
obviously listen to the other podcast episode the other week, can you just give us a flavour of what you expect in your
sure.
presentation?
So I begin by just saying, hey, have you ever changed your mind about something or someone, right? And we do it all the time. We get new information about a person or about a thing, or maybe even a behavior of our own, or maybe even some thoughts of our own. And because we have new information or a different way to view it, we
Yes.
can change our mind or our mindset. And the example I start off with in my presentation is one where, for the classic ADHD adult, you get up in the morning and you look at your to-do list and it's just a million threatening things, right? It's like, I just got so much to do, I can't decide. You look at your email inbox, oh my God, I got 50 of these and I'm just so freaked out. And so we're in a mindset of, holy crap, I am slammed, right? That is not a healthy way to be. It's not a healthy mindset because we're jacking up our cortisol, reducing the oxygen to our frontal cortex, which is where we need to be doing our thinking, right? And the reality is that when we look at our to-do lists and our email pile and the piles around us, et cetera, and we feel like, oh my God, all these, there's this problem. I forgot about that one. This problem's crisis. None of these things are problems right here in the now. You and I are speaking to each other. You're a busy guy. I'm a busy guy. I got stuff to do when I get back to my hotel room or when I'm at dinner tonight, et cetera. But right now, in the now, there's no problem. So why is it that when I look at my to-do list, or when a lot of folks look at their to-do list, they get all freaked out? When if we could just shift from "holy crap, I'm so overwhelmed" to "all right, let's have a mindset of, dude, there's no problem here in the now." And I'll just add to that by saying, um, there's really only one to do in the now, and that's the one thing you've decided to work on. So it's a tough switch to make. But if you can make that mindset shift once in a while and more often, you're going to find yourself getting up in the morning, looking at all the to-dos and the emails that are unanswered and going, all right, there's a lot there, but my freaking out about it is not going to get me any further. I need to relax and realize that let's just pick one of these things and everything's going to be fine. Obviously, if there's something that does need to happen right here and now, well, then go take care of that. But 99 times out of 100, that's not the case. So that's one example of a mindset shift.
I mean, just listening to you there, I'm already sort of thinking the next stage, before we even get to the point where we want to prioritize what's urgent, what to pause, and what do we need to attend to. You need to that mindset shift you described needs to occur first, doesn't it?
Yes.
Rather than you feeling overwhelmed initially, because that's not going to make you have the logistical mindset to think, right, okay, what do I need to logistically start to tackle
You
it?
just nailed it. That's what I go on to say is I say, listen, when you get stressed out and freaked out,
Yeah.
your cortisol goes up. Again, the oxygen to the frontal cortex is reduced. And so that's not a good place to be able to go, okay, what should I work on, let alone how to get in there and start working on one. But when we can just be a little bit zen and go, all right, everything's cool. Yes, these are important to-dos, and I do have to finish this one thing later this afternoon, but right now, let me just choose one of the things and set a timer and work on that. That's a more powerful place to come from in terms of both your deciding what to work on and then how to get to work on it.
Yeah. You work with a lot of adults, and I mean, when we spoke a few weeks back, you were talking about, we talked about a lot of things, didn't we? Do you remember we were talking about? I'm just trying to jog my memory. Remember there was we focused a lot on feeling burnt out, feeling overwhelmed, and things, and I'm trying to jog my memory again. Do you remember there were three things that we went through, and you were just describing
Did
in
we talk
detail?
about rituals?
The rituals, that's it.
Right?
Yeah. We talked about rituals, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, is that going to be part of your talk? We talked about the mindset shift there.
In a
Rituals?
way, some of that will come in.
Yeah.
Trying to think of the one where I do talk about the work session ritual.
Right.
Yeah, and that's one where we sorry, I'm waving to people. This is what it's like here. It's just one fabulous ADHD face after another.
It
I'm
is.
sorry.
I mean, there's no mask in here, so yeah, that's fine.
But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to remember which mindset shift it goes with, but I'll just re-describe that
Yeah.
important ritual. It's
Yeah.
like when we are about to finally start on something, right? It's the one where I talk about self care instead of self comfort. That's a mindset shift to
Yeah.
do. And when we hit a wall, right? When we're working on something, we get a little bit paralyzed and we get frustrated. What we'll tend to do is grab this little thing and we will seek relief for a little while. We'll seek to rest by opening this and doing this or that on an app or checking our email again, etc. And that is not restful. It is taxing. It burns more energy. So what I invite folks to do is shift from that self-comforting to self-care, which means you want to do a restoration. You want to do a recovery ritual,
That's it.
right? It's a recovery ritual. You want to get up and do something that will restore the blood to your frontal cortex, that will reduce your cortisol. And so that can be as simple as getting up and walking around, going outside, pulling a few weeds, a whole bunch of different possibilities. But before that, I also talked about the work session ritual, where when you do decide on what to work on, you can make a big deal of it. And you go, I'm going to go get my protein. I'm going to get 20 grams of protein in here. I'm going to top off my coffee. I'm going to rehydrate, guzzle a bottle of water and get another bottle, and just have, my stuff all there, and then set a timer. Just doing a ritual around that one thing you want to work on can help you stay focused in that work session. And even with that, you're going to hit a wall, and that's where you again need to go to recovery rituals and not some kind of self-comforting app.
In your opinion, just thinking about executive functioning, what's the biggest mistake that people with ADHD make when they're trying to improve their executive functioning?
I think one of the most common mistakes, and I talk about this in my presentation tomorrow about the mindset shift, is we get up in the morning and let's just say we got a wide open day and we go, this is great. I'm going to be able to get a lot of stuff done. So we fill in our calendar. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. And then we end up, look, we step back and go, look at this perfect day. And it's never perfect. It never works out that way because we just engaged in some magical thinking. Stuff comes up. This one thing takes longer than you thought. More stuff comes up. You get frustrated or fatigued, and then, this, that, and the other thing happens. Those perfect days never happen, but they feel good to put on paper. So I invite folks to shift from a this is going to be a perfect day mindset to lighter and looser. A lighter and looser. What do I mean by that? First of all, stop planning 18 things for yourself. It's never going to happen. It never has happened that you've gotten the 18 or whatever done. Identify just two biggies, two really important things that you might just be able to move forward a little bit. And then some miscellaneous things also that you can do in your non-mentally strong time. And also plan looser. Never plan based on minutes. Never plan, well, from 10:15 to 10:45, I will do baloney. Give yourself blocks bigger than you think are needed blocks to do any given, especially big task. And then leave lots of white space in your calendar if you can, because there are always going to be things that pop up, et cetera. But also, we never planned for what I call personal administration. The bathroom, our meal, going out and get another cup of coffee, answering the urgent phone call. There are so many things that are potentially vying for our time that we don't even think about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, if you could teach every clinician out there one thing about ADHD coaching, what would it be?
One thing about ADHD coaching that I'd like to share with everybody out there,
Yeah.
I would say that, you know what, this is great again, because I'm going to put this in the context of mindset shifts. And what I invite folks to do with and I'm going to share 10 mindset shifts. I talked about a couple of them here. And what I invite folks to do is what I do, which is once you decide there's a mindset shift you want to make, write it on a big sticky or a little sticky and just write it big and then keep that where you will see it every day. So it's in my backpack, but in my planner, I've got one sticky that's there every day. And I won't bother to tell you what it is because then I'll have to explain what it is. But it's a reminder to try to work this new mindset, right? And shift out of an older mindset. And what I say in sort of selling that sticky proposition is imagine if you had a coach who 10 times a day was tapping on his shoulder and said, hey, don't forget, we're trying to change the way we think about so-and-so. Well, a coach can't do the 10 times a day, but the coach can at least one time a week or more say, hey, how are you doing with that thought pattern that you have? And remember, we talked about how we can shift that or we can reframe it, or here's another way to think about this thing, et cetera. That's just one thing that coaches do. After all, what coaches really do mainly is help you shift the way you think of things, the way you look at things. So I invite anybody who's the least bit curious about coaching to go and find a coach, or maybe there's some pro bono coaching that you might be able to get at the prominent ADHD coaching schools. Experiment with it. You won't regret it.
Okay. Um, what's one habit that changed your life with ADHD?
Oh man, you ask these loaded questions, man. This could go any of it. What's the most important thing? It's funny. I was attending a presentation this morning by one of my coach masterminders, actually, and it's about acceptance commitment therapy, ACT,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And you're certainly familiar with it.
Yes.
And I think that the most important thing that any ADHDer can do is accept themselves. Stop beating up on yourself. I'm not saying that you give yourself a free pass, but accept that you've got this differently wired brain. Accept that you're not going to be able to do things the way everybody else does it or somebody else does it. And you're going to need to do it differently. And you've got some, let's just call them deficits. You got some deficits or your abilities are fragmented with some of the language that she used in this presentation. Um, and and just work on accepting yourself. I know this sounds cliched, but if you're not able to do some degree of that at first, everything else is going to be harder. Even being coached is going to be harder. Yeah.
Yeah. I suppose it goes in with also not being too hard on yourself. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
part
yeah.
of self-acceptance.
Self
Absolutely.
acceptance. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, I mean, we've covered quite a few things
Covered
now.
quite a bit.
I'll throw a couple of questions to you before we finish. We know obviously you were diagnosed with ADHD as an adult, weren't you? And you kind of documented your journey throughout the years. I'm getting distracted as well.
There's a lot of people waving at Archie over here.
There is.
All right. Some are waving at me, some are waving at Archie.
Okay. So, okay. What one message would you give to someone who's just been newly diagnosed with ADHD?
Yeah. Um, do not fall into the trap of feeling stigmatized because you're quote unquote broken, or are you somehow less than? What you just did is you got a piece of information that can help to explain why you might have been a less than optimal student, or why you struggle with things, or why, in my case, I got called dummy by my father so often. And also for me, the fact that I became a drug addict because I was self-medicating while I was in college, and I was using drugs to get my brain to go. And whether you end up being prescribed, treated with medications or not, um, just take it as a victory in that you now know why you have done things that were suboptimal or whatever you want to call it. And then you can get to work on the tools, the practices, the mindset shifts, etc., that can help you live to your potential.
And last question: what's one thing you wish you knew earlier in your ADHD journey?
Well, I would say that I wish I knew that I had ADHD earlier on, but that's an easy one. Um, One thing that I wish I knew. You know what? Whether it was ADHD or not, I wish that I knew that my brain worked differently. Again, whether I ended up with an ADHD diagnosis or not, if someone had come to me and said, "Alan, by the way, your brain requires a little bit more interest in order to get fired up. Um, your brain, you need to watch out for things that are very stimulating because that can drag you down a rabbit hole or worse." Um, I think that's one thing I wish I knew when I were younger. I'm writing an article right now for Attitude Magazine about the pain of growing up with ADHD. And I tell the story of having been undiagnosed for my entire childhood, adolescence, and young adulthood. And that was really a pain. It was a painful thing not knowing why my brain didn't work. So it would have been great to know how my brain does work, and what it can and cannot do, et cetera.
I mean, there's a lot of message that you've just said there, but I also think about young people as well when they're going through their struggles and their childhood and things. It might feel like it's going to be like this forever. Life
Yeah.
is just going to take them down
Yeah.
a rabbit hole, negative journey. They're not going to succeed in life. I mean, if it's a young person listening, um, again, what message would you be telling them right now?
I'm going to share an anecdote that I may have even shared on the podcast a couple weeks ago, but I used to give presentations just about every month locally in San Diego when I first moved to San Diego from New York. And I would be waiting. The presentation started at 6:30 p.m. And of course, most folks were late. So while we were waiting for the room to kind of fill in, I would share a little bit of my ADHD story, how I was diagnosed, et cetera. And then I would ask other folks to share. And this one evening, there's an older gentleman, a really seriously older gentleman in the front row. And the moment I asked that question, his hand went straight up and he said, "I'm 87 years old. I was diagnosed at 80, and the last 7 years have been the best of my life." He used some foul language in there too. He was that excited about it. So I love relating that story because the best years of my life came since I was 37. I can't imagine now not having been diagnosed and treated. I would not be living the life that I'm living now. And here I am. getting interviewed by Archie.
Of course,
That's a
there you
pretty
go.
good life.
I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, giving a talk at a well-renowned international conference like this
Yeah.
one as well. I
Can
mean,
I say one thing about these conferences
yes.
too? And I'm going to share an anecdote. And I know we got to go. We got to go watch the keynote.
Yeah, we've got the keynote speech
All
starting
right.
in a couple of minutes. Yeah.
So I was at the conference 2 years ago. I had just finished speaking. I walked out of the ballroom, and there was someone out in the lobby who had seen my presentation. She walked up to me and she said, "You won't remember me, but I will never forget you." She says, 10 years ago, I was in Detroit at my first ADHD conference. I was just a regular person. I wasn't a coach or anything. And I was standing in the middle of the elevator banks looking a little bit bewildered. And you came up to me and say, "Hey, how you doing? You all right?" And I said, "Well, yeah." And we chatted a little bit. And then you said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I don't know." I said, "Come with me." And I said, "Come with me." And we went and watched the presentation together. All right. So she said that now, and she's now a coach, and she says that every time I go to one of the ADHD conferences, and it could be the ADHD Congress in Europe, it could be, I forget what Andrea Bilbo's organization is,
Or Addis.
Addis, right? But that's the environment. And she says that whenever I go to one of these, I look for someone who's standing around looking a little unsure, and I go right up to him and say, "What are you doing?" And so it occurred to me as she's telling me this that this conference, and we talk about how great the presenters are and the information available, et cetera. If we didn't have any of that and you still had 1,000 people in the same hotel with ADHD, you would still have a great conference because you just have people going, "Hey, you and me, man. Yeah. Tell me about you." Wow.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to put a plug in for these kinds of gatherings of ADHD adults and
I think
kids.
you've just summed it up there. And I mean, every time I come to these conferences, I go home and I try and kind of relate to my colleagues and everyone what I've just been experiencing. And that's the whole point of this podcast, to be fair. Um, I came with the concept of how I can bring the information back to when I go home. Because I used to be like feeling overwhelmed. I couldn't put it into words. And I thought, you know what, let me capture it. Let me film. Let me record. Let me speak to people. Like, people can feel the atmosphere and people can hear from other voices, not from just Archie, in terms of what's going on at this amazing, fantastic conference that we have over 3 years. I mean, it's been going on for years and years now. I mean, it's fantastic, and I think you just summed it up there. That there's no masking, people are just being themselves. If people want to be interrupting, I was in a lecture just now. People were calling out, not in a disruptive way, but they were just being themselves,
Yeah.
being quite authentic.
Yeah. And
with
being
it.
able to be yourself, that's
Yeah.
what makes it kind of a joy fest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fantastic. Now we got the keynote speech. Alan, always a pleasure catching up with you, and
That's great.
I look forward to your speech
Hey,
tomorrow. Actually,
thank you for doing this. Thanks for doing all these interviews with folks because I do think that you're capturing the essence of what this place is all about, and
Yeah.
your energy reflects it.
Yes.
And I look forward to seeing these episodes and these videos of these talks you're
amazing,
doing.
amazing. Thanks for reaching out to us because you reached out to want to come into the podcast.
Yeah.
You know what? I came in, confession. I came to your presentations last few years because you've been giving talks on these conferences for a number of years now, and I always wanted to kind of bring you on as a guest. And it's one of those things. I didn't have your contact details. I knew about ADD Crusher. I'd read some of your articles in the Attitude magazine and things, and lo and behold, you reached out. You dropped us an email and you said, "Hey, Archie,
The universe,
absolutely,
did the
absolutely."
work.
And now, look, here we are, sitting opposite each other, enjoying this fantastic conference, and you coming on as a guest on on our podcast. So, I mean, yeah, keep up the good work, and I look forward to seeing your amazing work with everything you do in your career.
Too, Archie.
If people want to reach out to you, do you wanna give us your kind of contact
Sure, you can
details
find
and
me
things?
at addcrusher.com, not ADHD, but addcrusher.com. Look for me. There's an email address on there. There's also some free goodies if you want to grab those.
Of
And
course.
thank you for doing the work that you do. Really.
Thanks, Alan.
Thank you.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Uh,
Thank you. Take care.
well done, brother.
All the best.
Is that
Here
cool?
we are. We are at the
ADHD?
ADHD conference in Kansas City. We
Day
are
two?
day two. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exciting.
It was
So,
amazing.
I mean, it's only like 10 o'clock, 10:30, but
I know, but still, it was already amazing.
it was the keynote
The rest
speaker
of the
was
day is just cake after this.
Yeah, so we just waited to talk to Dr. Brandy,
Yes.
who did the keynote speaking talk just now, which is she had a standing ovation, and a lot of people were like literally like engaged, and like we were amazed by everything she was saying. She was funny, she was relatable, she was like there was
Very
different moments in
relatable.
there.
I
mean,
cried with her when she cried.
yeah, I mean that was yeah.
You weren't there yet.
Oh, that was just before I turned up.
It
Was
was
it?
just before.
Wow, was that already that deep? I
It was
literally walked in
yeah.
2 minutes late.
I'm just saying though.
Okay.
Mhm.
Wow. There you go. I mean, she was just being. I mean, we're going to speak
Herself.
to her in a minute.
I know. I'm looking forward to it.
Um,
Now I'm antsy.
What else are we looking forward to?
Our friend is over there. Hold on.
What have you got? Oh yeah, from yesterday.
Mm.
Oh yeah. Hey,
Hi,
how you doing?
Archie and Bree.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
What's good?
That's good.
Oh, I'm on TV.
That's Sierra.
Oh snap! Hold on, let me do my intro.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I had to come correct, you know. So what's good? How y'all
Yeah,
doing?
good. Yeah, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you in the keynote speak?
Yo, that was lit.
Yeah.
That was lit. Yeah. It was real good. I was so like stoked to. I don't know who I'm supposed to look at, you or that. Which one?
I mean, look at me. Look at the camera.
Okay, I'm
Look
looking
at
at
a bit
you.
of both.
Yeah. Let me know where I can get the link so I can share it with my people. You know, my
Yeah.
fans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every bit of my following. You know what I mean?
So, do you want to tell us who you are
Yeah,
and what brings you here?
So I'm Tiara, and what brought me here? Finally getting here, right? So I've been wanting to come to this conference a long time, but every year I told you, we were talking yesterday, I travel a lot, so I'm never able to come. But this year I was able to come, so I'm like, I'm coming to see my people, and so that's why I'm here. So I'm an ADHDer. I have ADHD children. I am a professor, so I have a lot of students who are ADHD, who work with people who are ADHD, who, just it goes around. So, but yeah, I'm excited to be here though.
Where are you located?
Here you go.
Where am I located? That's a good question. Yeah, no, I'm in North Carolina, but I'm originally from Williamsburg, Virginia.
Okay, so if people are trying to get in touch with you and get some information
Oh, snap,
about
okay.
providing your services you provide, or
Yeah, so
how
let
you
me
connect.
I'm gonna give what I do so people can know who to connect with me
Yeah,
outside
that
of
would
just
be
a pretty
great.
face. You know what I mean?
I like it.
All right, so I'm a private practitioner. So Crown Life Counseling Center. That's where I do a lot of the private work, help people with personality and functionality. So personality, identity, personality disorders, any of that type of stuff. Um, the functionality, ADHD, being neurodivergent, all those type of things. So people can find me crown-life.com. Me and my husband, we run a private practice together. We also have other clinicians on board. I guess social media, I'm not really on social media for real. I got to get better at that. But it's crown_me, Tierra.g. So that's how I can remember it to give it to people. So that's ways that people can connect with me. But I also work with the military. I'm faith-based, so I do a lot there. I'm jack of all trades. You know how we do.
Yeah.
We can't just do one thing and be okay,
That's
I get
ADHD.
burnt out.
That's
you know what I mean?
ADHD, isn't it?
But yeah, so
Yeah.
that's how people can find me.
I mean, yeah. Good to meet you. We connected last night. At the bar and stuff, and
Right.
glad to have you here, and hopefully come next time as well next year.
Oh yeah, I'm down for next year. So and it's in December, so I'm ready to go on stage and do my little spoken word and all that next year. Yeah. I'm coming out next year. This year was my spectating year, meeting folk like y'all and getting to know folk. But yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm grateful to be here.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Nice to meet you, Tiara.
Yeah.
All the best.
All right.
Take care. Oh yeah, Teresa's over there.
Oh, there you go.
Lady
You
T. Hey. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Did you come to the keynote speech?
I did come to the keynote speech. I enjoyed it very much. I was slightly familiar with Dr. Bollinger, but one of the things that stood out for me really was when, she just shared all the facts, right? Even just saying, hey, it doesn't matter what religion that you are, you can have that relationship with your God and you can still have a therapist. So I think that it's really important to talk about the connection in the teams that people with ADHD need for them to have the support they need to work towards a thriving life.
Excellent. And do you want to tell us who you are and what you do? What brings you here?
Oh, what brings me here? Yeah, so I'm Teresa Taylor of A Tailored Space. And what I do is I help professionals and executives to be able to do the things that are most important in their life and work. So I do that through productivity and leadership coaching. I am the founder and host of the Black Women ADHD Summit. And I'm just that all around good, help you get your stuff done, girl.
So, what are you looking forward to the most this year?
Um, what I'm looking forward to the most is the conversations that I'm able to have with other professionals like you all that just really help me innovate. So I'm looking for a few things I want to change in the summit, a few um, new modalities. So me being a coach, not always having the perspective of a therapist, of an educator, and things that I can bring to those in my community to help them. But what I also hear is that they want to be able to help their family members as well who have ADHD. So just looking for ways to expand my network and continue to gain some skills and grow.
Excellent. If people want to reach out to find out more about your amazing work in the ADHD space, how can they get hold of you?
atailorspace.com. You can reach me there. Same thing on my LinkedIn, Teresa Taylor, and happy to connect.
Excellent. Good to see you again.
You too.
Enjoy the rest of the
Thanks
conference.
later.
Thank you. Hey, so we are still waiting. The queue is, I mean, we haven't moved much, have we? You can see it's still fairly quite long. We got Megan over there. Maybe we can bring Megan on. Do you want to introduce yourself to our listeners, please?
Sure. My name is Megan Brown Enya. I'm the founder of ADHD at Work, where I help women thrive in the workplace and in life.
And what keeps you coming to the conference like year after year? I know I've seen you. This is the third time now I've seen you.
Yeah, honestly, it's the community. It's the community, and it's also pushing me to grow, which is what I can really appreciate about it. Right, like the first time I came, I was just attending. Then I came again. I was still attending, but I came with a child, so I kind of it
Oh
was a
yeah.
little bit different process. But then after that, it's like, okay, no, I want to speak at this conference. No, I want to sell a book at this conference. And so every year I try to further engage in a way that is letting me grow, both personally and professionally.
Speaking of your son, obviously, I remember the
He's like
first
the
year you
highlight of this
came.
conference,
I think were you
apparently.
pregnant the first time you came? Were you pregnant?
No, I wasn't. I don't even think I was married the first time I came.
Oh yeah. I mean, when we connected, you definitely didn't have a child then.
Oh, no.
It's
Yeah.
interesting, obviously, because he keeps coming every year.
Yeah,
I mean,
this
I
is
don't know
his.
how long you're going to come, but I'll be interested to see. We can track how he's growing every year, every time he comes. And next
Yes.
thing you'll be,
Yeah, I
a,
think
a
his
grown man.
he was born in October, so his first conference he was like, I don't know, maybe 6 8 weeks old or something like that. And then every year he just is, this now he's running around and being and entertaining everyone that is coming
Yeah, yeah,
that likes to interact with him. So
yeah,
he really enjoys it too. He likes coming. So this he just turned 2.
yeah.
So we'll be tracking him.
Speaking of your amazing work, workplace accommodations. I know you do a lot of that.
Yeah.
Anyone new listening, maybe newly diagnosed, maybe struggling in the workplace, maybe haven't really disclosed about their diagnosis to their boss, the employer. What tips and advice would you give them?
One, I would tell them that just understand that it is a process. And then there are strategies that you can put into place without actually having to ask your employer for something formal. But then there's also things that your employer can provide you that, and in some contexts, they're legally obligated to provide you. And asking for those things requires a whole other level set of skills around self advocacy and acceptance when it comes to your own ADHD. But once you get access to those supports that you can provide with or without your employer, and then the ones that you can get with your employer, like you can thrive at work with that. And so, raw dogging ADHD in the workplace isn't always fun and also helpful. And so you want to make sure that you get the appropriate supports that you need in order to be successful, and however you're defining success for yourself.
I bet you some of them are wondering, what if I don't know what to ask for?
Then you come to people like me. You come to me because that's what I do, right? So, my background is in social work, ADHD, education,
Yeah.
business, and also HR. And so that my unique specific background is what allows people to get those accommodations and access to those accommodations. And so when you know how the systems work, it's easier to be able to manipulated, I guess, for a better word, to be able to get what it is that you need, right?
Yeah.
So you know the language that your businesses wants you to use in order to get that access to those supports, then I can help you with that. And if not, then you can go to somebody else, I guess.
How are you finding the conference so far?
It's good. So the speaker today was actually really great. So I'm standing in line right now to go see Dr. Brandy, to get her book signed. But it's been fun. I was actually just doing my own reporting for my own social media. What I appreciate about conferences like this one is that it's not just, oh, I'm attending a session and then I just go about my business. Like so there's multiple ways that you can interact with with the participants or just with other people. There's games, there's activities. It's not boring.
Yeah.
And so, and you can just show up. Like if you have to go to your room, like Dr. Brandy said 3 times, like I did this morning, you can, and nobody cares. And so it's, there's just a level of acceptance that's here. You come as you are, you be who you are. There's no masking, and and it's a breath of fresh air, to be honest.
I mean, yeah. And the venue itself, what did you make of the location where we are and just,
Yeah, this
where we
actually
located this year?
this location is actually a lot better than I think than last year. Last year I felt like it was a little bit all over the place and too spread out.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
But this year everything kind of seems to be pretty straightforward and easy to navigate,
Yeah.
which I can appreciate.
Yeah. And lastly, just again, if people want to find out more about your amazing work, how can they get hold of you?
Sure, I'm on all social media platforms at ADHD at Work. My website is www.adhdatwork.co, not com, but co. So you can find me there. I do one-on-one coaching, and I also have a group coaching program for women with ADHD. And so we can talk about what that would look like and which way, what supports that you can get for where you're at in your own journey of ADHD. Because I do I have a lot of conversations with people about their readiness for change and what supports will be appropriate for where you're at in your own ADHD journey.
Yeah.
And so some people want the group coaching, some people want the one-on-one, some people are like, listen, I can do this on my own. So I have resources for that too. So I actually have a book semi on sale at the bookstore now, but if you go to my website you can get some more information about that too. So it's a workbook around executive functions and to help you identify the strategies that are going to help you to be successful at work on your own. So doing a little bit of self-coaching in that workbook process.
Do you work directly with employers as well?
I do.
Yeah.
And so I do work directly with employees. And so if it is an employer sponsored coaching session, I do like to incorporate the opportunity to work with the manager or work with the HR department so that they can understand how their policies and practices are also impacting the ADHD. And so, you can be in the workplace and realize that your ADHD symptoms are kind of feel a little bit more out of whack with at work because of the environment that you're in. And so understanding how your ADHD shows up in work and how your environment is influencing that is important. And so if there's something that can be changed and shifted on the work side, then I can have those conversations on your behalf as an advocate, but then also as a consultant and understanding like the business side and the HR, I get it. And so being able to speak their language to help them understand how they need to shift a little bit so that the ADHD employee doesn't want to pull their hair out every time they show up in a meeting with you.
Yeah. I mean, from a legal standpoint, as an employer, are they obliged to put these accommodations in place?
They are. So I practice in the United States, and so there are some regulations and laws, and the federal and local laws actually that require employers to provide accommodations for their employees. And so it is a reasonable accommodation. They get to decide what's reasonable. So there's always some loopholes, and there are certain obligations like the size of the organization that needs to be taken into consideration, whether like we need to consider obligation. But if you are asking and your employer is required to, then you should be able to get access to those.
Yeah, and that applies to the UK and I'm sure other parts of the world as well.
A lot of different countries have their own version of similar laws. Like there's disability laws around the entire world.
Yeah.
And so know what the laws are for your country, and also know what the laws are for your state or city too. So you want to make sure you understand that, and so then you can get the supports that you need, and don't try to do it on your own. Honestly, like it's just easier to get into some additional support, and that's with anything in life, right? And so,
Yeah.
They can be the task rabbit of making sure that you get access to what you need in the workplace.
Yeah. I mean, amazing advice there. Thank you, Megan, as
You're
always.
welcome.
I can see Dr. Larry, who was our Lifetime Achievement Award recipient a few
Oh,
years back.
nice.
I think he's making his way over here. I'm not trying to cut you off, by the
Oh,
way.
no,
I'm
no, no,
just.
no worries. Here, I'm done.
There you. Oh, there he is. There he is.
Cut. I'm cut. Cut.
How are you?
Very good, very good.
As always, good to see you. Good to see you. Would you mind stepping onto the podcast for us?
Sure,
As always.
certainly.
How are you doing?
Doing well, doing well.
Yeah.
Just had one of the best speeches I've ever heard. Definitely the best I've heard at the conference.
It was.
In the about 8 years I've been coming.
Really.
So Dr. Bowling was excellent, and really hope that that quality of keynote speaker will continue.
For obviously our listeners that didn't get the opportunity to hear what the keynote speaker was talking about, would you mind just giving us a flavour? What was it that stood out for you from that speech?
The things that stood out from her talk were, one, her ability to connect with the audience, to find those common threads, particularly us as sufferers of ADHD, how the world appears to us, how the world responds to us. And she hit it from every realm, from individuals to family, and then also with that village. What is that village of support that you use to make sure that your family and yourself get what they need to become resilient, to be able to maintain and continue in day-to-day life? So it was a wonderful, wonderful talk.
Did you know of her before today?
No, I did not.
Really? Yeah, I think a lot of us and a lot of people I'm talking to as well, weren't familiar. But it's just goes to show that how many amazing people, professionals out there doing amazing work.
Exactly.
And that's the whole point of this conference, isn't it? It brings together all these amazing professionals and physicians and researchers and things that are doing amazing work. And I mean, look at the queue. We've been waiting in this queue for like almost half an hour just to go. It goes to show how how powerful her speech was and how people want to connect with her, find out more about what she does and stuff. Coming back to yourself, you were the Lifetime Achievement recipient.
Yes.
Not year last year, it was the year before that.
Yes.
Do you want to tell us a little bit more about yourself and where you are now with your journey and your professional and personal journey with ADHD?
Right now, the wife and I have published a book raising our three sons called Falling Through the Ceiling, our ADHD family memoir. And we're working on a workbook to accompany that, to really work with adolescents, young adults, and families to really, one, be able to provide some resources and some tools for families to work together. Because, I mean, one person with ADHD can pretty much destroy a whole family dynamic. But in our case, there were 4 of the 5 of us had ADHD. Myself, 3 sons, my wife being the only neurotypical. So what I'm doing now is basically coaching, writing, speaking, in order to sort of spread the word in terms of what you can become with the right resources, the right village, and the right treatment. That the world is still your oyster, even if you have ADHD, but seeking the support and resources that you need to become successful. So, read our book, Falling Through the Ceiling, available at any store outlet through Amazon, etc. And look for the 26th version, the workbook that will be associated with it.
We spoke a few years back when the book
Yes.
came out, and
Yes.
I think that was just people celebrating behind there. We spoke about the book, and certainly I read the book. Really, really powerful book. Where are you now as a family with all of you having the diagnosis and the journey? You described quite a lot of difficult moments in the book, and
Yes.
there's a few things that you all went through as a family. Where are you now?
Good. The sons are grown. They're all in their 40s now. They have their own families. We live in St. Louis. The oldest boy lives in St. Louis. He's married, has his family. And the middle boy has moved to the Philippines. He's a graphic designer, web designer. And because his team was there, got there, liked it, and stayed.
Yeah.
The oldest, the youngest, is now, of all things, a baker.
Oh wow. Okay.
Because he was really, as a teen, the most creative. He made jewelry and made lots of money doing jewelry. Then he became a DJ while he was in New York. And now his second, I guess, career is as a photographer.
Wow.
So, but his official job is as a banker. So they've all sort of spread their wings. They're all, happy in their families and jobs. So it's been a pleasure to see them begin to thrive. So now just to make sure that the grands can launch.
Yeah.
Some have, some haven't, because several of them clearly have ADHD. But being the grandparent, I can't be as hands-on as I would like, but still trying to work with them to support them and help them to sort of figure out their best selves.
Were your children diagnosed quite earlier on when they were quite young, or?
The boys were diagnosed as teens. The youngest was diagnosed first. A very astute, I guess she was like a counselor coach who was working with them on preparation for the ACT exam.
Right.
Called us in and sort of suggested that the youngest one had ADHD. Because he'd know the lesson one day, the next day he had no memory of what he had done well on the previous day.
Yeah.
Which was sort of a recollection when the speaker spoke to that. So with that, we looked at the other two and found the other two had ADHD as well. And I was still in the process of denial until the middle boy challenged me to take the test.
Yeah.
And my score was pretty much the same as his. So I had to really begin to deal with the fact that my little idiosyncrasies, my variations were a little bit more than just individual, that it was part of ADHD. But, my issues primarily in terms of was work would go well, but by the time you get home from work, there's no energy to do anything. So how to reshape my life in a way that, one, that there were things that I could enjoy beyond work, two, be there for family, and three, be able to have those shared interests that like now the wife and I have.
So what's next in the next 5 years for you? Have you got anything exciting to look forward to? Or?
No, nothing major. I like to continue to travel.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're working on that workbook for to accompany our book, and trying to expand my coaching practice, which is Taste of Success Coaching, and available by Zoom, both nationally and internationally.
I was just about to say, you do support, coaches internationally as well, and I know you
Yes.
support one of my friend Rosie from
Yes.
the UK,
Mhm.
who unfortunately couldn't make it this year. But
Correct. Yeah.
so if anyone wants to reach out to you, how can
Mhm.
they get in touch with you?
They can reach me through by email, Dr. Larry at tasteofsuccesscoaching.com, or through our website, which is Enable Tables, ENABLETABLE.com. And there you can learn about the work that we've done, um, some of the talks that I've given, as well as an opportunity to sign up for coaching.
Excellent. And people can get your book on bookstores like
Right.
Amazon,
Through
and
bookstores, or it can also be ordered through our website.
of course, and it's called Falling Through the Ceiling.
Yes, that is
Cool.
correct. Falling
Yeah.
through the ceiling.
I like the title.
Yes, because my son actually did fall through the ceiling,
Literally.
literally.
Wow. Is that where the title came from then, was it? Or,
Yeah.
I mean, you play of words.
No,
Yeah, but literally.
it was real.
Yeah.
At the time, we were living in a house which had a full third floor, and the AC condensation ran through this intricate set of pipes.
Okay.
The middle boy was the most athletic. Was usually the one who would go up there and periodically would have to empty the trays or unclog those pipes. He had moved out.
Right.
The youngest boy rushes up the stairs into the attic space, and you literally have to walk across beams to be able to get to the AC.
Right.
And he misstepped, being the 6'3", 200 plus pounder that he was, and literally his feet came through the ceiling and was caught on one of the cross beams in his crotch.
Ooh.
My wife and I were leaving our office on the third floor, and the plaster all came down on our heads, primarily on my wife's head and her hair.
Wow.
So that was the origin of the title.
Makes sense. I mean, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a story behind it, and yeah, it can mean all sorts of things as well. The title. I mean,
Yes,
like
yes.
falling through the ceiling, you can interpret it in different ways as well. But amazing to have you as a guest on our
Thank you.
podcast, and
Thank you for having me. Good to
I
see
wish
you again,
good to
Archie.
see you as always. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Archie.
Luke, nice
Nice.
to meet you.
Your stand is called PsyQ.
Yes,
PsyQ. Do you
absolutely.
want to tell us a little bit more about it?
Sure. So, PsyQ is an online resource library. It's been around for about 10 years. We've got about 70 to 80,000 people registered. It's completely free to register. It's designed for resources like infographics, webinars, podcasts, videos, all in the psych space, both geared towards healthcare providers as well as patients. It started out kind of around bipolar, schizophrenia, depression, and it's evolved over time. ADHD is one of the newest things we've added to the site. So we're rolling out new resources, monthly, yearly, quarterly. So, yeah.
What sort of resources do you provide on the website?
Yeah, so a lot of it is tangible resources that
Okay.
can either be printed off or viewed online. Newest one that we have is a webinar with Dr. Ann Childers.
Okay.
She's a national clinician in the ADHD space out of Las Vegas.
Right.
So she did a webinar with us here in the last month or so,
Right.
kind of going through ADHD as a whole. And then this infographic, and then we've got one other one is some of our newest infographics on the website.
Right.
And then a lot of the PsyQ platform kind of walks through the entire disease state. So from beginning, so symptoms, diagnosis, and treatment, things like that.
And comorbidities as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you go into detail with the treatments, for example, medication?
So on PsyQ, there's no medication names on it at all.
Yeah.
When talking about treatment, it's classes of medications
Right.
rather than specific medications that we're talking about. So it's a completely unbranded site.
Yeah. And what makes you stand out? Because obviously there's platforms, like Chad over there, there's Ada, they all provide information and resources
Absolutely.
and things. Are you just kind of complementing on top of what they're already doing? What's so unique about your company?
Yeah. I'll say number one, more knowledge is more power, right?
Yeah, of course.
Especially if it's accessible. So
course.
having more and more resources out there can only benefit.
Yeah.
We also focus more beyond the ADHD space as well.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different psychiatric disorders on PsyQ that goes through in detail.
Yeah.
ADHD is just one of them. So that kind of sets us apart from kind of the Chad and the AD.
That is true. That is true. Yeah. I mean, it's a one-stop shop for everything, isn't it? You don't have to kind of dip in and out of different places, different websites, and online platforms to access resources. And it's obviously research-based, reliable information because there's so much online.
Yes.
People can go on Dr. Google and tell them all sorts of things on there. But your platform still be kind of well put together. You've kind of collated lots of resources from different, do you work with different organizations to pull through some of the resources?
Yeah,
or?
that and studies, surveys, working with other clinicians. Even on the infographics here, you'll always see cited sources at the bottom of where the information comes from.
Oh, of course.
So it is reliable information as well.
Right. So obviously it helps for people that are not diagnosed, not just with ADHD, as you said. So if they're looking into, what are some of these symptoms? They want to educate themselves before getting the diagnosis and also after the diagnosis as well. Right?
Exactly. Yep. So patients, caregivers, anybody that's even interested in the psych space, go on there and they can learn about what it's about.
Yeah. Sounds good. Pretty cool. I mean, as I said, we're from the UK. Anyone in the world. That's the good thing with the beauty of the internet. You can access from
Exactly.
anywhere in the world. So yeah, I mean, great. come back and grab some leaflets and things.
Perfect.
For people who want to find out more about it, do you want to tell us your website?
Yep, it's psychu.org. Type that in and it'll pop up. All you need is an email to register.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, completely free.
Excellent. Perfect. Nice to meet you, Luke.
All right, you as well.
All the best. How are you finding the conference, by the way?
Oh, it's been great so far.
It's been good, isn't
Yes,
it?
yes,
Yeah.
a lot of good sessions.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I mean, this is the Discovery Hall. People are having lunch at the moment, but it's been great, very educational. Is this the first time you come to this?
This is my first time here, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Are you whereabouts are you based?
I'm actually based here in Kansas City.
so handy for you.
yeah. I didn't have to travel across
Oh my
the pond.
gosh, yeah, you're so lucky.
Yeah.
We look forward to seeing you in the hopefully the next one in Baltimore next
Absolutely.
year.
Yeah.
Excellent.
All right.
Enjoy the rest of the conference.
All right, you
All
too.
the best. Take care. See you later. I'll come back for this. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.